Hey, how you doing? Just another little quick thought today. I was thinking about temptations, and I hear people often say things like, "Devil's just been tempting me all week, tempting me to cuss, or tempting me to flip people off when I'm driving, or tempting me to just want to punch somebody, or tempting me to, tell someone off, and tempting me to look at stuff I shouldn't be looking at, and tempting this and tempting that." And you hear all these comments from these people. And I know I'm still in the flesh too, which means I have things that I get tempted in. But you hear this, and then you begin to wonder, why does he continue to bombard you in certain areas? Why is it that sometimes he just seems to overwhelm your mind and your thoughts with certain temptations and doesn't seem to want to let up even though you tell him to leave? So, go, these thoughts, I don't want these thoughts, and yet they stick around. So today I want to give you a little key. Here's the key. You listening? Get a piece of paper, write it down, do something. Here's the key. The enemy cannot tempt you in an area where you are not enticed. Yep, think about that. The enemy cannot tempt you in an area where you are not already enticed. So the issue isn't that he's tempting you. The issue is that you already have a desire in you for whatever it is that you are being tempted with, and that's why it's a temptation, because a temptation means you need to make a choice. You can either follow what you want to do and what the enemy's trying to motivate you to do, or you can follow what the will of God is for your life. That is what the actual temptation is. Think about it for a minute. If you don't like candy corn, you are not tempted to eat a whole bag of candy corn. But if you like candy corn, you might be tempted to eat a whole bag. Think about it. Doesn't that make sense? If it's not something that you desire, you can't be tempted in that area. So if he's tempting you with looking at stuff you shouldn't be looking at, then what's in you that's wanting to look at pornography? If he's tempting you with being angry and fighting and yelling and telling people off, what is it in you that wants to do that? So the issue isn't binding the enemy and telling him to be quiet and to leave your thoughts and to leave you alone. The issue is, Lord, I have this in me that needs to be removed. I have this in me, these desires in me that need to be healed. Sometimes you have to get down to the root issue and say, okay, Lord, what's really going on? I want to show you the pool for a second. Pool looks blue, pool looks pretty, looks real enticing, looks like something that you'd want to just jump into and enjoy. Today's going to be almost 90 out. Yes, it's November, but that's all right. We live in the South. It's going to be 90 today. But what you don't realize is that this pool, the water temperature is reading 65 degrees. So even though this looks enticing, that's right, and the little octopus is enjoying its time, leaving off some chlorine, might look enticing, might look nice, but it's only 65 degrees. So first of all, he always tempts you with something that has a hidden agenda underneath. It does not have the blessings and the benefits that you think it has. So he will tempt you with that, but then there's something within us that's allowing that to even be a temptation in our life. So let's get past the basic fundamental baby Christianity where it's always the devil's fault. He's one who's messed with me. He tempted me. That's why I did it. It's time to grow up. Time to say, okay, Lord, if this is a temptation in my life, why? What is it that you need to heal? What is it you need to remove? And sometimes it's just insecurity in our life that causes us to act a certain way. There's shame or rejection in our past that says we're not going to allow anybody to ever treat us that way again, and if they do, I'm going to stomp on them until they stop it. So there's something within us that needs to be healed, because if I bring candy corn around and you don't like it, it's not a temptation for you. But I have to say that there's been so much candy corn shaming that people don't even mention that they like candy corn anymore. And there's quite a few people who have come to me and said, I like candy corn too. But they won't say it publicly, kind of like the, oh yeah, let's go there. Kind of like the homophobics that want to sit there and make fun of people. But secretly inside, they know that they have issues within themselves, that they are sometimes attracted to the same sex. I've seen that many, many times with men, especially men who have experimented, we'll use that word, with other guys, that, they're very vocal about homosexuality, but the issue is that they haven't dealt with the roots within them of what was it that enticed them in the first place. Usually, abuse or pornography are the two main doors that open up those issues in people's lives. But then there's also the lack of a divine connection. And I'll use men for a second. A lack of divine connection between men with other men that's non-sexual, and of course it brings a confusion, but I'm going to teach on all that later. If there's an area that every person needs a Jonathan David relationship that's non-sexual in their life, and if they don't have that, it can open up doors of confusion. But like I said, that's a whole nother teaching. Today we're talking on the enticement of temptation. And again, the key is, the only reason that we're tempted is that there's something within us that the Lord needs to heal. So I know that this is a short message today, but I wanted to give you a key. I wanted to give you something that you can then go to God with and say, okay, Lord, this is a temptation in my life, so why? What is it within me that needs to be healed? Amen.